Welcome to Industry 4.0.
Hello and good morning to Industry 4.0. For the first time in a couple weeks, I'm now joined by everybody. This is recorded on Sunday morning, October 1st. So welcome to the month of Halloween, everybody. We'll probably have a Halloween themed episode later in the month for you guys. But good morning, guys. How's it going? How are you guys doing on this fine morning?
I got my cup of coffee. I'm doing well.
Nice, me too.
I'm nice and caffeinated now, and that was a nice and spooky intro, Slavin.
Yeah, I'll try to wear the blanket for the next episode as we get closer to Halloween.
I am nice and tired and not caffeinated, but still feeling good. So
yes. Well, we do have some interesting news today. We had a lot of stuff going on with the Amazon coverage. We had a lot of stuff going on with the Google event upcoming. But jumping straight into the first topic, I'm going to just jumpstart this, and then I have to let my dog in the room because she's begging to get in. But there were some new GPS chips that were created recently, and they're going to be featured in 2018 smartphones. They are leaps and bounds better than any other GPS, and especially the ones that are currently in modern smartphones. Has anybody had a chance to read into this, or does anybody?
Yeah, I've been looking a little bit at it.
Yeah,
it's looking like Broadcom's announcing that they're improving accuracy of GPS. These GPS chips are an improvement from 5-meter accuracy to 30 centimeters, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I can say that personally, I am going to be very excited to see how this works, because just recently I was in Dallas driving on the freeway, and I don't know if any of you have driven in Dallas, but the highway system out there, not saying anything negative, but there's a lot of different options. I'll put it that way. So the GPS will be like, yeah, bear to the right and take this route. And I start to do so, and then it splits into like 3 different directions. And if you don't pick the right one, it literally adds 10 minutes to your trip just like that. So I was like trying to catch a flight, and it was a close call.
Look into Philly. I've seen this. I've seen the GPS freak out on roads like 76, where you've got 2 roads running parallel to it.
Yeah.
And it's like I'll be going down 76, and it'll be like, in a quarter mile, merge left onto 76. And I'm like, wait, I'm already there. And then like the GPS carries me off onto a side street for a second, and then it has to reroute itself. And
yeah,
I'm just like panicking as my exit's coming up, and I'm not sure where it is.
Sometimes I love that, though, if I'm on my way to work or something and that happens, and it's like, oh man, I'm going to be like 5 minutes late. And then you see that that's happened and really takes 10 minutes off the time. You're like, yes.
And this will even be
still good.
Great for cities like Pittsburgh too. Like you were saying, Dallas is going to be good. Pittsburgh is like all just bridges and tunnels going straight up.
Yeah.
So you could be in the same area, but you need to be 3 roads below you. So it's going to be good.
Yeah, another improvement on top of the accuracy improvement is that it's supposed to consume half of the power of today's GPS chips that are in most phones, which I know is a huge problem for me, because if I want to use the GPS like navigation or walking directions when I'm not near a power source, it's kind of difficult because it really drains the battery, heats the phone up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, they were saying this new chip is going to come with a dual-core ARM processor on it. So it looks like it's just the power saving is going to be coming from offloading that math required for GPS onto the processor on the chip itself, which is really nice. And the fact that they're fitting this all into a 25 nanometer form factor is incredible.
So cool.
Like it's some awesome new technology that people are going to start seeing in 2018 smartphones. So the fact that we're getting a consumer-grade GPS this powerful is incredible. Like anything better than this is military.
The future is now.
Yeah, and especially with things like Project Tango and with all this new AR coming out, it'll be nice to see GPS being accurate enough to keep up with any of the location-specific virtual reality that you might, or augmented reality that people might want to implement.
Yeah.
Could this be like an internal mapping as well for when walking, let's say in a mall? I don't know how well like the GPS signal will penetrate through buildings, but It's very dependent on that, but I know Google's working on trying to get like an indoor navigation going.
Well, at the very least, this will be far more accurate because the algorithm that they use to run the GPS on this chip is typically when you're in a city. I don't know if anybody's ever noticed this, but when you're in like closer to center city where there's a lot of large glass buildings, there's you can sometimes have a hard time finding a very accurate signal because it's bouncing off all the glass in the city. And what this one will do is it will stop searching for signals after it gets the first one that gets to it. So it depends. No matter where you're at, it's only going to rely on the strongest signal. So hopefully with that, it does improve indoor technology.
Yeah, like akin to what you're saying, Matt, they mentioned specifically in the article how well it works in what they call a city's concrete canyons. This IEEE article. That would lead me to believe that indoor communication with GPS satellites is not going to be a big issue.
Yeah, especially when you're considering the 30 centimeter degree of accuracy when it's working efficiently. That's not that's not what room you're in the house. That's like what seat you're on the couch.
Yeah, and kind of to carry off what you were mentioning with the AR implementation of this, or I guess integration of this, what we were talking about a couple episodes ago, Matt, walking down the street and seeing a menu for whatever store you're passing. This is what's going to really make that kind of pop. You're in front of Dunkin' Donuts. Come on in. There's free coffee today. That kind of thing.
And this will be good for the Google's new Google Lens that they're going to be coming out with later in the year, which is like basically that. It's an augmented reality for storefronts and like reviews of stores. So it's some exciting stuff coming through the pipeline for phone technology. And maybe if you're satisfied with your phone this year, wait until a 2018 smartphone and get a phone with a much improved GPS.
What I'd like to see is a very precise geotag on photos by our Ryan Thompson and Ervin Lukacs.
Yes.
You like this view? Here's where it was taken.
Yes. And
keep that a secret.
All of your photography.
They're my stuff spots,
And segue, what else a GPS would help out with? It might help us pinpoint exactly where Equifax went wrong with the latest news this week. Because we have to beat the horse further, we have more Equifax news. We have two stories that are developing over the last week. The first of which is that they acquired ID Watchdog, which was a leading identity protection and resolution services company. So a lot of people are now beginning to speculate that they did this since this happened a week or so before they unveiled the breach, that they even possibly intended to profit off of this breach. So anybody who signs up for ID Watchdog, Equifax is getting a cut of the money that you're spending to make sure that Equifax's data isn't in the wrong hands. What do you guys think of that? I think we can officially move them past Uber. I know we've talked about that before, but
100%.
Passed it.
Is this some elaborate garbage scheme to switch the market that they're in from credit investigation into identity protection?
Yeah, it's a very convenient time to pivot to that market, isn't it?
Yeah, big publicity stunt.
Yeah, they're like, oh, hey, also, you can subscribe to our service for this little fee, and then you'll be able to make sure your identity is safe. No worries, just give us more money. And
the sad part is they're gonna survive all this. They're gonna just be just fine.
Yep. Yeah, their CEO who retired, he got a $16 million golden parachute, so he's fine.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because why not?
They did such a great job.
Yeah.
And the other bit of news that I wanted to get across was that there's evidence now beginning to arise that this was not done by just some group on the dark net or some script kiddie, that this was actually a state-sponsored hack by one of the countries who would have an investment in that type of information. So a couple of people were a couple of white hat hackers were monitoring the Tor network for the flow of stolen identities and noticed that it's actually quite normal. And this kind of alarmed them and led them to think that this may be a state-sponsored hack, and they may have been targeting maybe a handful of identities, but they just kind of got, in doing so, they blanket caught like almost 44% of the US. What do you guys think of that? Like, what do you guys think this means for the hack, that it's potentially sponsored by a government and not by some script kiddie or some kid looking to steal everybody's information?
I think before we go down that road, I would need more proof than just people speculating, just do it based on traffic. I mean, that's because that's such a big claim for it's stuff that we already assumed the government had or kind of know that the government has, but it's like, why? Like, what's there has to be a next level. So before we start speculating about that, I mean, it's obviously fun to talk about because that's what we do on the show, but like, I think that it's too big brother of a thing to start looking at without having that extra evidence or that extra step to it.
Yeah.
It's not the U.S. government. It's outside the U.S. So Chinese government or the Russian government trying to get in and steal this information. Because, the U.S. government already knows all this. They know everything about you.
It's the early episode, all right?
All right.
But yeah, I kind of agree with Kyle, but it is just something to think about. It could be definitely a possibility.
Right.
Similar turned up about the C cleaner. I don't know if we talked about it on the show when it was the installer for that was compromised, and it turned out to be just a target for certain companies. I think Cisco, Intel, Microsoft were all the ones that were targeted. People inside those companies were targeted for the C cleaner attack. And the reason that they infected C cleaner is because a lot of people are using C cleaner. So anyone who downloaded it got sort of infected, but they didn't really care about the general people. They looked at what network that program got installed on, and then they just attacked those specific companies that they were interested in. So it seems like a targeted attack, because if someone was actually just grabbing these social security numbers, they want to make a quick buck and go around and sell it on the dark net. And it doesn't seem like that's the case, but we need more evidence to prove.
Yeah.
Really.
And I think if you go back 6 months to when the hack actually happened, you would have seen it start on the deep web back then. You would have been a huge spillover if somebody was trying to turn it around really quickly.
There would have been people reporting that their credit scores have plummeted or something, or
fraud,
we would have seen something
or something. Yeah.
And to go off of the Engadget article that I have linked in the show notes, the insiders who were reviewing this data says many of the tools used in this hack were of Chinese origin, and that there are a lot of similarities between the China-backed breaches targeting Anthem, if anybody remembers that breach a couple years ago. And they were saying, it's none of the stolen data has surfaced, which means that whoever took it wasn't really in a rush to make a profit off of it. So this wasn't. There's evidence there and there's evidence not there, and this is just another developing story.
That's been a surprising part for me for all this Equifax stuff is like, we haven't had that big, like, oh crap, everyone's credit dropped 1 million, whatever, like, is dropping at a crazy rate. Like that the last hat to drop basically hasn't happened yet, which is kind of surprising. Because like you said, like you're just sitting on it then. Maybe, and that might actually lead you back to maybe they were targeting specific people and just happened to steal everything.
Right. Yeah. And that's just something that we're going to have to keep monitoring closely as this develops.
See, sadly.
And and maybe they were using CCleaner. Maybe that's how it happened. That's how they got into the system. So I don't know. It's something that I know that I'm sure people may be getting tired of us talking about, but it's important.
It is important. I mean, it's called a cyber attack for a reason. It's an attack. And I think that there's, strategy that goes with an attack. So you guys are right when you say yet. I mean, I think that this information is being sat upon, and whoever, the actual executors of this attack are probably waiting for a time to use this information. Maybe they're not using it because it'll lead whatever authorities are investigating to the people who actually executed the attack.
Yeah.
I think if all signs point to it being like a state attack, I'm hoping the U.S. government's paying close attention to it. They should be punishing Equifax for it, honestly.
Right.
But it seems like it could be part of a grander scheme if you're trying to like destabilize the central currency.
Yeah,
something along those lines.
Yeah,
but it's all speculation. It's all
Of course, I'm just the most critical aspect of this. Other than people's livelihoods, in my opinion, is what repercussions are going to be, come from this as a result, and how's this going to be treated. Like I said, as an attack, what do you do to fix that? Is it start a war? I mean,
right? Yeah, like all this changes if it's state sponsored too. Like
exactly
versus the hacker 4chan or like some small group or North Korea.
Right. Exactly.
So, yeah.
Oh, is that funny, Ervin?
The hacker 4chan's a serious dude. Yeah, he's a bad dude. You don't want to mess with that guy. But someone who isn't a bad dude. A little bit of lighter news. I'm still working on the second cup of coffee. You got to cut me some slack. Bill Gates has now officially admitted that he has switched to an Android phone, and albeit that may be the Microsoft edition Samsung device, but this could very well be the final nail in the coffin for the Windows phone. And it's kind of a shame because those were great phones. They just were backed by terrible software and a horrible app store experience. So I don't know. I just wanted to quickly mention that, and that's why we moved on to other topics. But the Windows Store, I don't know if anybody has ever had any exposure to that at all. It's a particularly unique app store experience. There was one game that a friend of mine had downloaded. It was called like Drivey Truck or something like that, and it looked like it was some side scroller like Mario-esque like truck game from like the screenshots. But when he downloaded the game, the game itself was literally you sliding the pieces of the screenshots together to make a puzzle. Like the screenshots for the game were all of the puzzles in the game. There's like 5 total puzzles.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, we should do a direct interview with the creator of those games and to see how jazzed he gets talking about it.
It's like or the creator of Drivey Truck. We would like to host you on I4O.
Or
she. If you're hearing this, yeah. Oh man, but I just wanted to bring that up because I thought that was funny. But
did any of you guys have a Windows-based device, phone or otherwise?
Aside from a desktop, no.
Well, yeah. I'm sorry. Obviously, a desktop. Yeah. Have you ever messed around with one?
A little bit.
I have. They're nice phones.
I just thought the user experience was crap.
Yeah, like it was. Yeah, the second you turned it on. Yeah. The phone was great. Right up until you
Yeah. Specs me like, okay, all right. Can you show me what it does? I'd rather not, actually.
I think the main reason that it failed, it was just too late. They waited too long. Mm-hmm. They were running. They had Windows Mobile 6.5 before the iPhone came out, right? And then the iPhone came out, and then Android, and then those two started getting a foothold, and then Microsoft started messing around with I don't know if you guys remember the Microsoft Kin, the fastest kill device ever.
No.
I think it was launched on the market, and then within I think 2 weeks of it launching, they killed it immediately.
Oh my goodness!
And then they launched Windows Phone, and that was already too late because like both iPhone and Android were already had that significant mind share within the consumer, and now when Windows Phone did launch, they didn't have the apps for it. Then nobody wanted to invest. The huge companies like the Instagrams and Facebook sort of invested some of their time into developing apps, but anyone else really didn't put that investment into development of apps. Microsoft tried to make it easy so that, hey, you can take your iOS code and just press a button and then automatically convert it into a Windows Phone app, but that didn't even help developers bring over their applications and now I think it's they know that it's over, and now they've been bringing all the Windows apps to all the platforms, and they run great. Every Windows application or Microsoft application that comes out for the either iOS or Android runs really good. The Outlook app is amazing. That's my favorite email app right now for work.
I think they have the only, they're one of the only few apps on Android that has an amazing tablet experience that actually is aware of the fact that it's in a larger screen size and it will format the entire application properly. It's almost one-to-one from the desktop experience.
That has to be because they have the money to develop that.
Right, yeah.
Which is good.
Actually, they bought that Outlook app. They didn't actually make it.
Oh, yeah? Wow.
They bought the best. They bought the best third-party mail client, and then they just rebranded it Outlook.
Microsoft.
Kind of like Skype.
Yeah.
Yeah. Except they kept this one good, and then Skype with every single update.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of this.
And then they went from Link to Skype for Business to Microsoft Teams now. So they're just overwriting the same code base multiple times.
I think
just trying to get it right.
I think the operating system itself should be commented on too. Like I remember the Windows Phone coming out with kind of that like panel view kind of look they were going for.
Right, it's like tiles.
Yeah, and it makes a lot of sense now in Windows 8, even now definitely Windows 10, the way that they kind of mixed it between 7 and 8, and now they've come out with 10. It makes a lot of sense on, like you were saying, kind of a tablet and definitely a desktop, but when it was on a small little smartphone and it wasn't really, it was kind of in like its beta form, it really just didn't work for me personally.
Yeah. Oh, I remember seeing it on my friend's phone and being like, this is ugly.
Yeah.
And then buying an Xbox One and turning it on and being like, come on.
I remember in 2008 seeing these Windows phones and seeing the ability to connect your Xbox Live experience into it in 2008, 2009. I thought that was the coolest thing ever, but now it's just like...
the only reason I thought about getting one.
Yeah, that was the only thing that drew me to it. And
there's some cool stuff. There's some cool stuff with that. I was talking to a friend yesterday, actually. I didn't realize this, but he plays Destiny 2 a lot, I guess, on Xbox One. And he was telling me there's a Chrome extension where you install it and you can manage your inventory and change your character loadout just on your browser from your computer, and then just updates automatically in your game.
Yeah,
that's pretty awesome.
Just worth commenting on.
What game was it? I want to say it was the Arkham Asylum. On Xbox One, you could bring your Windows Phone or tablet and link it to your Xbox One. And instead of having to pause for your inventory and to move stuff around, you just had the tablet in front of you, and that had the inventory table on it at all times. I think it was Arkham Asylum.
It kind of reminds me of the Wii U, how you have that screen in front of you. I remember my friend played Zelda on that, and the screen was your inventory and stuff like that, or drawing where you shoot your arrows, and then the screen.
It's actually kind of where they got the idea.
Yeah.
You could do that in Fallout 4 also.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, yep.
With the Pip-Boy. But
yeah,
that's look. I mean, I think the Windows Phone's days are numbered.
Yes,
yeah, absolutely.
I just want to go back to. Do you guys remember when GTA 5 was released? And that was the running joke. Is Franklin got the Android, Michael got the iPhone, and then the Trevor, the psychopath, got the Windows Phone.
Oh man.
But what isn't numbered? The days of which aren't numbered. I'm just going to keep these segues going through the whole episode.
Tell it's the early episode, guys.
It's SpaceX revealing its updated plan to go to Mars. I know Ervin was watching the stream. I didn't actually get time to watch the entire speech that Elon Musk had the other day and the plans. But do you want to lead off on this topic? I know you're passionate about the SpaceX and Elon Musk.
So about a year ago, Elon got on stage at a forum to talk about their plans to going to Mars. From what he told in the latest presentation that he did, that they didn't really think, after looking at it closer, didn't seem like it would be feasible or plausible in terms financially as well as actually physically getting to Mars. So the main reason is they needed some way to fund it. So now they went back to the drawing board and they redid their plans. So they've revealed that they want to reach Mars by 2022. which is just ridiculous.
It is.
Just saying that sentence, that's literally right around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of like, if overall picture, that like 2022 is like right here. We're gonna be
5 years from now. Yeah.
So that's the updated plan. I'm sharing a screenshot in the TechCrunch article of the initial plan of the cities that they're planning to build. So that 2022 launch will be just a supply mission. So they're just going to put supplies on there onto Mars, and then 2 years later, because that's about the window that you need for launching to Mars. That's where Earth and Mars align the closest, every 2 years or so. So in 2024, they're going to send the first manned mission to Mars to take those supplies and start building a base. So yeah, that's happening. Well, according to Elon,
yes.
But I believe in anything that he might say. Even though he might not hit the timelines that he's talking about, I believe that he will get it done.
That's always been his MO. Like, he always sets these wild stretch goals, and it's not so much when he accomplishes the stretch goal. It's the like 5 or 6 breakthroughs in technology that happen to get them to where they're at that point when that deadline comes.
Yeah.
Like, he set a goal to get humanity to, or he set a goal to help out with when SpaceX first started, and like not even a year later, they're able to land the second stages on barges in the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's the goals that they hit are stuff that, like, imagine if NASA had put this much focus into its space missions from the 60s onwards. Like,
I was
where
going
would
to
we be
say,
today?
it's almost 50 years later.
Yeah. And the way that they're planning to pay for all this is by taking over kind of the space launch business. So far, SpaceX is targeting to do about 20 launches by the end of this year. And then by the end of next year, 30. And just to give like a little perspective, Elon said there are about 60 orbital launches around the world a year. So that means that SpaceX next year will be doing half of all launches going to space. That's just ridiculous because of their price. In terms, like, that's how much people are going with SpaceX, because they're so much cheaper than everyone else, because they can reuse these rockets now that they can land successfully. I think he said they've done 9 successful consecutive landings.
16.
So far.
16 in a row.
16 in a row.
Yeah.
That's even better.
You know what's insane to me too is that he mentioned that he thinks that like the legs for landing are unnecessary. He thinks he could just land on a takeoff like apparatus. Yeah, the launch mounts. That's insane.
He's crazy.
Absolutely insane. And I love that he has for these Mars launches, I think he has a rather unique name for the rocket that's going to be taking people to Mars. I'm not going to read out the acronym aloud. But yeah.
No, it's big Falcon rocket. That's what it stands for.
Big Falcon rocket. Oh, the Big Falcon rocket.
Say that 3 times fast.
Yeah,
that's what you should do.
Okay.
That, that's it.
There was a Doom game that came out with a similar title. It had a different acronym, but it's the same letters. Oh man, but
rocket.
He names all of his rockets after great stuff. Like, read the instructions, and there was another one that I can't think of the name of, but they always do these like trolling names.
Yeah, that's the barge. Yeah, but the Falcon 9 was, of course, the Falcon in general. The Falcon name was, of course, the Millennium Falcon is the inspiration for that one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this FR is a fairly big rocket. It's close to the size of the Saturn V. That's the rocket that took the first man to the moon.
Nice.
And they said it's gonna hold about 100 or so people comfortably. If for let's say for a Mars mission, which takes a couple months, so you want to make it so that you're not just sitting in one seat, for the length for 3 months, right? You want to give like a cabin sort of feel, so like 1 or 2 people stay in that cabin for the length of that trip. And then he, at the end of that, he also announced that they're gonna do trips around
Commercial space flight
from any point in the world you can get to in less than an hour, and in most places less than half an hour. He wants to make these flights as cost effective as flying commercial jets, which is just ridiculous.
That's going to kill the airline industry.
Oh yeah.
You can wake up in New York and go to work in Tokyo. That's a 39-minute commute, I think.
Oh my god.
Most people
I like it, and I know his reasoning is saying that the cost of jet or the cost of rocket fuel isn't actually that much. It's probably pretty similar to what it costs for airline fuel. But what are the G's people are going to experience on these flights? Like how are people with heart conditions or older folks going to get on these rockets and go somewhere in 30 minutes?
A lot of people are going to be scared of this whole process.
Yeah, it could go the way of the Concorde if anybody has ever seen those planes.
Yeah.
They're just so dangerous and so fast. Can you imagine the Snapchat filters at like 26,000 miles an hour going around the planet?
he's just trying to get this pass so he can get around the world faster. That's about all he wants.
He's just the world's laziest person. So he's just trying to
Smartest
jet plane.
Yeah.
I'm also kind of curious to see like what kind of robotics he's investing in to build these lunar and Martian cities. If we're not sending manned trips in the next few years, there's got to be some kind of robotic option they plan on sending in the meantime.
Yeah, so build the base while people aren't actually there. Yeah,
or like I guess it wouldn't be big enough. I was gonna say a pre-constructed base, but you're totally right. It's gonna have to be something robotic.
Yeah.
But for the world travel, it's imagine being in space every day, traveling the world. Most people haven't even obviously most people haven't been in space at all. Imagine being like all these people in space on a day-to-day basis.
I just can't wait till the day that this actually becomes normal. It's just
I would imagine two things would happen. Silicon Valley would be extremely busy place because people who are big techies but don't want to move out there don't have to now, or you would be creating similar areas in new parts of the world where you have these hubs that people are just flying to with a rocket for special for specific specialties or specific knowledges. And it's cool to think about because I mean that area has thrived so much since tech became so big there that you can see that happen all over the world.
Right.
I agree.
Yeah, and the fact that you have someone who's made as many accomplishments as he has to lead this mission it kind of offers a little bit of confidence, at least not for necessarily accomplishing the goals, but like we said earlier, just what happens on the way to achieving that goal.
I wonder if he even gets nervous anymore.
Probably not.
We'll send rockets all over the world, whatever.
Yeah. And then with Hyperloop coming out, he's got all kinds of crazy stuff in the pipeline for his plans for improving transportation on Earth.
So in Elon Musk's future, you can take a rocket from Mars to Earth, which will land in a city. You can take a rocket to another city across the world and then get in a Hyperloop to get back to your local hub.
Yeah. That's incredible.
Yeah.
But I think that's all we had for the first half. Is there anything else that we were missing or anything else you felt we needed to expand on?
We missed the moon base as well. So there.
Oh, right.
Wasn't part of the main discussion, but he posted on Instagram that they're planning to build a moon base as well, not just the base on Mars.
That could be a good hub for saving fuel and getting people to further or deeper missions in space. There's less of an atmosphere to get through in order to get a ship launched from the moon.
Right, and it doesn't take 3 months to get there.
Right, yeah. It's 1 light second. But That would be definitely helping that industry. It would probably save them a ton of money on cost too. Less fuel to get to the moon and less fuel to get off the moon to Mars. So, but I think now that being said, that is everything that we had for the first half. Anybody have any closing thoughts on anything we covered, or we all set?
Nope.
All right. Well, with that being said, this is the end of the first half, and anybody who's sticking around will be back shortly for the beginning of the second half. Thanks for listening, guys.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Industry 4.0 for the second half. We were a little worried that we might not have the whole crew for the second half this time. I know I say that every single episode, and we're usually coming back full force with everyone. We did it again today. We pulled it off somehow. The whole squad came back for the second half, so victory for us. We appreciate you guys tuning in so far. Obviously, depending on how you're watching this, you may be watching this through our Facebook stream. You may be watching it on Twitch. If you're not on Facebook, make sure you check us out, facebook.com/industry40, all spelled out. Twitch.com, same thing, twitch.com/industry40, all spelled out. You can also find us on iTunes. This video will be available later on YouTube. You can find us on Google Play, Industry 4.0. Our main hosting for the podcast is Industry40, all spelled out, .podbean.com. Gotta love Podbean, doing good things for us here. Most importantly, if you like what you're hearing, if you find it informative, if you find it important, like we feel at times it can be, share it with people. Like, subscribe, rate us, let people know how exciting it is to listen to this show, and we'll keep giving you exciting stuff to talk about. The most exciting thing to talk about right now, though, has been Amazon trying to take over the friggin' world. Mm-hmm. Amazon had a huge announcement. I mean, you can't even specify what it was about. It was about anything and everything, showing off all kinds of new products. I don't know which one of us was most excited about it. Where do you guys want to start off? What's the most exciting thing? What stuck out the most to you guys?
Just to start, this announcement kind of came out of nowhere with Amazon. They just announced on the 28th, I think was the date, or the 27th, that they were just releasing an entire update to their current line of Echo products, as well as several new products that are coming off. So just to kind of start off, they are iterating on their original Amazon Echo, and they're releasing a new Echo at $99, which is a lot cheaper than the original $170 Echo when it originally released. So this is apparently going to be the same Echo, but with an updated speaker and an all-new design. So I don't know about you guys, but I think the cloth design approach for these new products is actually a really nice aesthetic and fits much better into a typical home environment. I'd be much more willing to sit this on like an end table or on a shelf than I would like the old black Pringles can that was the old Amazon Echo, the real tall one.
Yeah, making it stylish and making it fit into the aesthetic that you already have going on within your house. This is a smart move because it makes it less like of a tech purchase and more of like a thing that you buy for your house and that looks nice, but also does all this smart home features. But they also updated the old one as well, and that they reduced the price So they still have, if you like the old style of the Echo, the old cylinder, the Pringles can, as Mac called it. Now that's called the Echo Plus, and it's $149 instead of $179. All of these include improved, everyone says much improved speaker quality, and now dedicated woofer as well in there.
And it's also got Dolby Sound.
Yeah, Dolby Sound. So it should give better music playback quality. I think they're trying to compete with the HomePod. I know that's not out yet, but Apple touted the quality, the sound quality of that highly when they first announced it. So, but there are these, including the new Echoes as well as the Google Home, is a lot cheaper than the HomePod. But that's no surprise there. Apple likes to put their tax on their stuff.
The Echo Plus, one of the perks that you hinted on, is it actually comes with a smart home hub inside of it. So this could be used to connect this device to things such as Philips Hue light bulbs and Samsung's SmartThings devices. It's a way to kind of eliminate the hub that people have like laying underneath of a shelf or like inside of a drawer somewhere or something for like the Philips Hue bulbs. And I know like mine is behind a box in the corner of the room. It's not even sitting on a shelf anywhere or in any convenient place. It's literally as close to the wall as possible on its side, stuffed into a corner. So it's something that could be good. Is now we're beginning to see where we can consolidate these devices into less and less things and have more compatibility across technologies. So,
and speaking of the Philips Hue bulb, apparently every Echo Plus is going to be coming with a Philips Hue bulb. So for $150, you're going to get the hub in the Echo Plus. Obviously, like we said, it's going to look more like a tech item than like something that fits with your current decor. But you do get like a jump start to the smart home. So it's basically, the way I look at it, especially with the much cheaper prices, is that one that has the cloth finish is more for people who know their friend that has one. And then the Echo Plus is more for people like us who are very up on technology and don't care if it necessarily fits, or maybe it does already fit our decor because it's got like this sleek silver look and like we're tech heads, so we want to show it off, where someone else might be like, I want this little I think with these two products, you not only get a jump start to have people coming in into the smart home realm, but you also expand your market with the cloth finish on the cheaper model to people who may not have necessarily gone at it, because like Ervin said, it feels less like a tech purchase that way.
Yeah, it's more like a home decor type option. It's nice. And those two Echoes weren't the only things that they announced. They announced a whole slew of products, such as I don't know if you guys had a chance to look into these anymore, but the Echo buttons that they released, they're going to be selling them. A 2-pack will be sold for $20. So, and they haven't really announced much that they're going to do with these buttons, but the example they showed during their event was using these buttons in almost like a trivia type game scenario. So more of like a family experience with the buttons, and they come with LEDs and connect with any Echo device, including the Echo Dot, which a lot of people own.
So I like the price point on these, but I'm not a fan of the look that they have personally.
Yeah.
I think
they remind me of those easy buttons that Staples.
Yeah. Or I think like Amazon came out with buttons like that too, didn't they? The Echo Dot, I think, or Dot.
Oh yeah, the dash buttons.
Dash. That's what it was. Yes.
But yeah, so if they open up the API right for these, the possibilities could be like endless.
Right.
One useful feature, the trivia doesn't really do anything for me. That's like, okay.
Agreed.
Trivia game, but like, let's say you put one at $20 a pair for these. You could put one in a room. And with all these smart home devices, I know it's nice to control them with your voice, but sometimes you just want a physical button. You just press and turn on or off all your lights. Like, let's say you put one of these in each room, and you just press the button, and whatever, if it's on, it turns it off. If it's off, it turns it on. and you can program which ones you want per room. That'd be a good, interesting use case for me personally. The trivia thing really doesn't play to what I would think to use something like this for.
Yeah, I think for the button, a more practical use for it is acting or using it like some sort of intercom through a house. So if you like hit the button, you want to talk to somebody in a different room.
I don't know if
that way you have the
microphone.
I don't think they built it in, but I think it'd be a good.
It would work if it's got proximity to the closest Echo device. That would be something that if it's aware of which device is closest, it would connect that in the intercom to another device where someone hit the button. I can see someone writing a skill for that on Amazon.
Maybe if it has the latest GPS device, it can.
Yeah, it'll know. It'll be a lot more accurate. Accurate to 30 centimeters, unless you got them closer than 30 centimeters.
One idea I had, that I started thinking of when reading about the buttons was, it immediately made me think of way back. I forget which company it was. We started talking about the potential for smart items in the home or smart bulbs to talk to each other to make the communications more accurate and quicker. You could see something like, if you have the home and you want to turn on lights upstairs already or something upstairs, you can talk to your main Echo or your main, the dot, whatever it is, and that'll communicate via Bluetooth to a button, and that button will connect to another button, and that could, and like that's they can kind of talk and make things quicker that way rather than the Echo talking to each individual item, each individual room. It made me, I forget which company it was, but they started talking about how the bulbs could talk to each other and turn everything on quicker in the home when you get into the home. So that was where my head went right away.
I could see these being used for a huge variety of cases. That, like you were saying, and I've even danced with the topic of using them for triggers for sending notifications to someone. So like you go to let's say you have a smart washer or a smart dryer, you throw your laundry and hit the button, and then it takes the timer remaining on the wash and sets an alarm on your phone or something like that for how much time is left on your wash. I could see this going to be something triggering, like let's say you can do events where you string multiple smart devices and actions together in one. So when you walk into a room, you hit the button, the lights will turn on and all your blinds will come down or something like that. Yeah. Or even something as
Barry White starts playing in the background. So
it reminds me of Quagmire.
And even something as simple as putting a little bit of padding on like your door and putting it on a wall, and when someone comes into the room, the doors hits the button and it's like, hey, someone came in this room, or something like that, or like put it inside of a cabinet or something.
The possibilities are endless, and like I said, if they open up the API right for developers, it really can pretty much do anything that they can imagine up, which, as we're talking now, is quite a bit of stuff just thinking about on this episode.
IoT.
That wasn't the weirdest thing.
No. I like
there's others. So the next one is the Echo Connect, which
yes.
I found really interesting. So the line here on TechCrunch, ever wished you could connect your Amazon Connect to your landline? Well, you can now. So the Echo devices added the ability to make calls over voice over IP. The Google Home added that feature as well. So you can call landlines, but one of the downsides with that is you can't call 911 because it can't communicate the location of where you're calling from for 911. So it's a safety kind of feature. So I think this may be because of that. So you can add like a physical location, so you can actually make real phone calls to outside lines, including 911. I don't know if 911 is part of this, but
doesn't this also another advantage of this is it will utilize your actual landline number as well. Yes. So it won't generate a phone number.
I know a lot of people are getting rid of their landline. They're just relying on their mobile phone at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it comes with. Is there a service fee included with this? So the cost is right now $35. If you want to pre-order now, is there a if you want to attach this to your landline, do you need to pay a monthly fee to make those phone calls, or does it just come with it? Not sure.
Right. I'm not sure about, and I'm looking at the Echo Connect on Amazon for the page they have for it, and it doesn't look like it does. I don't want to announce anything ahead of time, but they don't mention anywhere in the how-to that this adds any additional cost or has a service fee or anything.
Yeah.
It looks like it's so yeah, they have in their FAQ, how much does Alexa calling and messaging cost, and it says it's free.
Nice.
So
Interesting.
this just works in with your existing landline and just kind of adds functionality to it. So this is, like you were saying, not many people have a landline, but for those people who do, or live in houses that do, this can be a good way of introducing this kind of technology and making an existing thing a little smarter.
Yeah.
So I kind of like this. This is
for $35, if you don't have a landline now, you can, and if you have an Amazon Echo for $35, you can add a landline so you can actually call phones or real phones. Because right now, like the Amazon Echo, the calling feature was Echo to Echo, not outside. I know the Google one has Google Voice, so they could tie it to an actual phone number. They don't need this extra device, but it looks like for the Echo, it does need this extra device to actually make phone calls. Interesting.
Yeah, no, it definitely is.
There is more.
Yeah, I want to save the weirdest thing.
There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I want to save the weirdest thing for last and go on to the other pure product releases that they had. But to move on to the next one, they did announce their official competition to the Google Chromecast Ultra and the Apple TV. They're announcing their 4K Fire Stick for only $70, which it's very nice that to finally see Amazon catching up with the rest of the industry and releasing a fully 4K device. And this thing is going to be pretty powerful if I was reading the spec sheet right. It's got 4K video up to 60 frames per second with a quad-core CPU built into it, as well as Amazon voice control support. So, and it can be controlled by Echo devices. So this is a pretty nice device for anybody looking to get into the smart TV area without going there and getting
this comes in the same price as the Chromecast Ultra, which also does 4K. But the Chromecast is nice. I really like every time that I use my Chromecast. But for actual, like, what I would say, quote unquote, normal people, they have a hard time getting their. They have a hard time not using the device without a remote, since they're so used to using a remote. With the Chromecast, your phone becomes the remote.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the way that Amazon has been approaching this is really smart by offering a remote. Even with their stick devices, they don't rely having your phone around. It just makes it easy to navigate an interface on your TV, because everybody's used to using a remote with their TV anyway. They don't have to change the way that they're interacting with their TV, changing the channel or moving from app to app, things like that. It's really smart that they're including a remote with this, with the voice services. You just press a button, talking to.
Yeah, I completely agree too. It'd be easier to get someone. I know my dad picked up a Chromecast for the house, and he was like, "So where's the interface on this? What can I do with it?" And I was like, "You just send stuff to it from your phone. It's like a passive device that utilizes any video player that your phone supports." And he was like, "Oh, okay." Like, I think he'd be much more inclined to use a device that came with a remote. It's a much more familiar form factor.
Yeah,
I
agree.
I think I'm most excited about this release out of all the ones that were announced personally. I love the price. And just to clarify, it's called a Fire TV. It's not a Fire Stick this time.
Okay.
But I like the look of it. I like the capabilities I'm reading about. It's saying that it runs on Android Nougat. and you can do some cool new things with it that you couldn't do on previous releases. Like there's picture-in-picture video within apps now. So for example, if you're like the example given here by Engadget in this article I'm reading is that, you're watching a show or something like that. If you want to modify a setting or check something else, you can do that on the fly while you're still watching your show. There's time shifting, so you can pause and rewind live videos. You can record content, so it's not like you're not going to be like, ripping from Netflix or something like that, but you can do things like DVR or capture games that you're playing.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff is just exciting to see in a small standalone device.
Right.
I like the game capture.
Yeah, the game capture is a good feature.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. And someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is the cheapest of the smart TV devices that comes with Atmos support.
I believe you're right.
Dolby Atmos. So anybody who's got who's either a home theater geek or has who's a bit of an audiophile for their home technology, then this is a good device if you're looking to save a little bit. But I think the only other ones that do that are the Apple TV and the NVIDIA Shield at this time that actually can bring you that level of audio quality. I could be wrong, but
I kind of wanted to talk.
I think it's right up there with those devices.
I kind of wanted to talk about that when we were talking about the echoes earlier in the show. I was wondering, I don't know if this is something that is already existing or if it's something that's maybe coming down the pipe, but do you guys think that those could be used as surround sound speakers in the future?
I could see that. Yeah, that's a good thought, especially now that they're adding the Dolby support to the Echo.
I would love to, have wireless speakers, because I don't know about you guys with your home theater audio, if that exists for you too, if you have sound bars, whatever. I have a home theater system, and my least favorite thing about it is the wires running around my room.
Yeah. Well, with Bluetooth 5.0 and the Amazon Echo devices being Bluetooth compatible, I'd imagine someone could at least hack something like that together.
Yeah.
Or now that they put together where you can sync up the music. So if you sync up multiple Echoes to play the same music all over your house, this could potentially use that type of syncing to send different audio, like the back channel to.
Right.
That'd be interesting. I'm not sure if they are planning to launch something like that, but it'd be pretty cool.
Right.
I'm also kind of curious to see if there's how long it will take before that gets jailbroken, so to speak, like the previous Firesticks were. Because I know a lot of the Kodi and Plex, they run off the XBMC, and Amazon actually they back a lot of the content cloud service wise.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like on the back end they kind of promote that sort of marketing.
They could, yeah, but I think that either way, someone's going to find a way to get Kodi running on a smart TV device, whether they explicitly. Yeah. That's the one goal that everybody has with this type of technology.
Right. So now it's Kodi in 4K with that. So I think that's going to be a big seller.
Yeah, that's surely going to stream well, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe at Ervin's house, but. But
another device that.
Yeah.
I think it's really cute. It's like the Chumbies making a comeback.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys remember the Chumby.
Very vaguely, but yes.
The Echo Spot, which is pretty much the miniature version of an Echo Shows, the way I thought of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a circular device with a circular screen on it, and also a built-in camera. So you can make video calls with it. And its main function is built as an alarm clock on your bedside table. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if I'm comfortable with having a camera on my bedside table.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
It's cute. Very interesting looking.
I don't know if it's $130 cute.
No.
Yeah, the price tag on it is kind of steep.
Yeah.
It does do all the same things that the Echo does already. So it's just an Echo that looks different and has a clock on it.
Yeah. I think this would be one of those things that I put a sticky note over that camera or something.
Right.
If I ever bought it.
Yeah, until it's needed. And then
Yeah. Because I don't know how often I want to conference people from bed. So
it seems like a stationary smartwatch.
Yeah. Yeah, in a way.
Pretty much.
You're tethered to the wall.
I'm not this one doesn't excite me personally.
No, it didn't really. It's just another iteration on their device, and we can get into that a little later when we talk about like what like Amazon as a company itself. But the last thing, and possibly the best thing that I'm the most excited for, is that Amazon has announced that they were enabling support with its Gadgets API, which will let them connect to various external devices, and one of them is the infomercial star Big Mouth Billy Bass. Do you guys remember those?
Yes,
Of course I do. Take me to the river.
They're going to be able to sing along to the songs that are being played through your Echo.
Yeah,
And,
they're gonna be lip syncing tunes that you play on the Echo.
yeah.
Well, oh my god.
It's
My
just-
favorite is a little line at the end of it. It's just because why not? just why not? Just give Big Mouth Billy Bass the ability to sing.
making a comeback.
This is totally like a crowd pleaser.
Oh yeah,
Guys, I have that fish thing. Come over.
yeah. Did you guys see somebody actually took like they gutted an Echo Dot and embedded the technology inside of one of these Big Mouth Billy Basses, so that way you could play, like you could use it as an Echo. That would be terrifying. It's just like,
Jesus.
like, hey Billy,
Yeah, hey Billy. Yes.
turn my lights on. Just like flops off the wall.
It can make awful
That would be-
puns. It's finished.
Yeah, this is the first smart home technology that's both excited and terrified me at the same time.
But
Yeah,
like
it's
the
got
overall
terrifying when the batteries start to die.
the big story
Oh, I thought you were going more along the route of when the battery dies, you don't have it anymore.
No,
Just get completely reliant on Billy the Bass.
That would be-
story here is the Gadgets API, I think.
Yeah.
Lets you tie it to any external, like the bass, the fish was just one example of it, but
You gotta say the full name. It's Big Mouth Billy Bass.
nah.
Big Mouth Billy Bass dropping the bass.
Oh man, but so with that, we had Amazon releasing their technology. We have the HomePod coming out. We have the Google Home, and we have the Samsung SmartThings, and they're probably going to announce something with Bixby next year for their home. What do you guys think about this whole rush to be the number one smart home voice assistant technology? What do you think? Who do you think is going to win? Do you think? I mean, it's going to be probably for me down to Amazon and Google because they've already got a stake in this industry. But do you guys think that with this massive variety of things, this blanket covering of smart devices that Amazon's doing versus Google's more targeted AI-backed technology, who do you think, and I'm curious to hear each of your opinions on it, who do you think is going to be the number one, the top dog in this industry?
Bixby, calling it now.
Come from behind victory.
Get out.
I
Get out.
think
I
think
by the
Amazon-
way, just to clear that up, that was a joke. No,
don't at me, people.
But yeah, go for it, Kyle.
I personally think it's going to be Amazon. I think with the moves that you saw in this announcement, they're clearly going more towards the general public with their wide variety of options and different looks and sleeker looks, and dropping the price so heavily from the first time around. They're putting all these things out there, and like, I mean, Ervin, you even said, you're like, it's cute, like stuff that they do. They're like, it's like people see it and they're like, oh yeah, I would get that. It might not even be for the whole home experience, but it's that first step into that experience. And I think they're going to be end up being the leaders, or at least in most places. I think you'll probably still see Apple be the most profitable at the end of it, just because they're so expensive. But
Yeah, the Apple tax makes up for the lost and sold units.
yeah, exactly.
So
But go ahead.
I think that I think we live in an age of agoraphobia, and I think that for that reason, Amazon's gonna take the cake here, just with all the, not just the services they provide for like streaming and things like that, but for their foothold in market, like with sales and deliveries. I think that is like the huge edge that they have here. Between the other ones, if we want to talk about that, because I personally think Amazon's gonna win this market, but between Google and Apple, Samsung, Siri I think there was news recently, if you guys saw, that they switched from their search engine from Bing to Google. Did you see that?
I did see that. Yeah.
So that makes it a closer contest between Apple and Google for me. I don't know. What do you guys think? I think the Android footprint is a little more connected with this.
Yeah. I think the way I do agree with you guys. I think Amazon may come out on top for the consumer grades home technology, as the Echo does it does most anything that anyone who's looking for a cheap entry level path into a smart home, it would fulfill any of their needs. Like, you can pick up an Echo Dot for $50, but I think that people looking for a more premium experience, or people who are more invested in a certain ecosystem, I could see them going for Google or for Apple for their smart devices. Because anybody who's 100% invested in their calendar for Google Calendar, who uses Google Play Music or Spotify, or someone who's looking for who's very familiar with the assistant itself, or have used the Google Now when it was available on phones like that. I think that would be more targeted towards them, because it comes at a little bit of a higher price point, but it's a bit more of a premium experience, and it fits a little more nicely into their particular use case. So I think that you're going to see Google and Apple fill into a more of a niche market for this type of technology, and you'll see Amazon be that blanket cover, because I know a lot more people with a Prime account than I do with either a Google phone or an iPhone.
Right.
So,
and they have a mind share because they were first on the market, so everyone's got used to their Amazon Echo. Even the commercials on TV is like, oh, this is like a new thing, and then Google's jumped on it, and now Apple's gonna do it by the end of this year. But just for having that head start, I think they have a better mind share in terms of the consumer. Yeah. They're like, oh, okay, I know what an Amazon Echo is because I've seen the commercials, or they either seen it at a friend's house or things like that. But also that cheaper price, the Echo Dot. I think you mentioned it, Matt. You saw it in during last Christmas in all the stores. People were buying them by the handful.
Yeah.
They were so cheap, so discounted. They were like using them as stocking stuffers.
Amazon sold them like beer. You could buy them in 6-packs. Like, you could get it looked like a 6-pack of beer, but it was full of Echo Dots.
And they offer that's the thing. As the bigger one, right? Same type of function.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing, and I know I spoke about this before, because they use these devices to collect data. Like, that's their sole purpose on their end. I'm surprised they don't give these out for free with Prime subscriptions, since most people already had them, like you said earlier, Matt, or a lot of people have them.
Yeah,
it should be a good marketing scheme would be just to include one of their cheapest devices with the subscription, so people are already introduced to the market. They already have one in their house, and more comfortable to go, all right, I'll go get another one that's a little more high tech. Because I don't personally feel comfortable putting one of these in my house yet. Like, I still I don't want Google Home. I don't want anything. I already have a webcam and smartwatch. I'm always like, these are probably listening to me already. So I'd like to limit the devices that do that.
Right. And the other thing that we're not touching on, and also goes back to kind of what we were hinting at the beginning of the discussion for Amazon, is as of June this year, they have over 15,000 skills associated with the Echo itself and with their voice assistant. So they've already got such a massive advantage. They've saturated the field with skills for basically anything, whether it be cooking or shopping or trivia games, family stuff. Like, they're already so deeply invested in that market itself that it's so much easier for someone to find what they're looking for through an Amazon device. So I could totally see that the Echo winning purely because, like Ervin said, it's been there longer. I think the Echo itself is coming up on its 3rd year. If you look at all the way back to its original release. So it's been around for, as far as product lines go, it's been around for a while. So I could see Amazon it's already got a huge advantage, but to see companies like Google and Apple catching up with them so quickly, it'll be interesting to see where this market is at in 2 years, another 2 years, once Google's had enough time to establish itself. Because I know we covered in their leaks that came out, and we'll find out this on Tuesday, but they announced the Google Home Mini, or that leaked, and that could be a competitor to the Echo Dot. So maybe in 2 years we would see Google and Amazon going head to head for the smart home technology, trying to price each other out.
Yeah, and there's also a rumor for the Amazon Echo Show competitor from Google.
Mm-hmm.
And that is kind of interesting because Google recently removed the ability for the Echo Show to play YouTube videos, which is, I know that Google and Amazon have been fighting here and there because the Chromecast devices aren't sold on Amazon stores. Neither are any Android TV devices. While the Android TV might be back because they added specifically to the Shield, the Amazon video store. But and now that Google is fighting back, they're like, oh yeah, you can't play YouTube videos on our Echo Show, on your Echo Show. And then that adds fuel to the fire that they might be releasing a competitor to that. So now you have to get the Google version to play YouTube videos on there. It's kind of interesting.
See, this is what we need in the tech space right now. We need a good, just gritty rivalry. Give me Red Sox Yankees. Give me Tupac Biggie. Get Hype Man out there. Let's go.
For me, it's
Amazon Google battling out in the streets for the next 3 years.
For me, this is 100% a race to see who dominates the market of smart juicing technology.
It was Juicero out of the market. That's an open field.
Yeah, it's wide open. Who wants it?
Yeah.
Just a little shout out to the first episode, the pilot episode.
Yes. I could totally see that happening too. Someone breaking into that juice market and just destroying, and just taking everybody else out.
Make me some orange juice now.
It's a matter of whoever taps into it first. But I'm excited to see where this takes us and where this goes. With Amazon, like they're kind of going a bit Echo crazy. Like they're just releasing something Amazon connected for literally any possible use case, all the way down from like picking clothes out to playing trivia at home. So like I said, it'll be interesting to see where we're at in like 2 years.
I think that with the advent of AR technology and the smartphone and the home in general, I think it's going to be nuts to see what comes from Amazon. When we're looking at, I think it was a previous episode with trying on clothes before you actually go to a store or buy them or anything.
Look.
Yeah, there's other, like the IKEA app now where you can place furniture in your home with AR and kind of see what it looks like. I shared that on our Facebook page for iFurrow not too long ago. That home marketplace that Amazon brings to the table is going to be insane when those kind of things become commonplace.
Yeah. I'm excited for those things, the clothes and the IKEA and stuff like that. That's the stuff that gets me all jazzed up.
I'm still waiting for my first drone delivery Amazon. How long ago they announced the drone delivery service?
Yeah,
right.
Well,
yeah, a while ago.
See what happens. Instead of hit the button when you need to get more Tide Pods for your wash. It's going to be, this is what your Tide Pod stash would look like if it was full.
Would you like us to buy it?
Yeah, do you want some more?
Push the button and order it. There you go.
Oh, man.
But yeah, with that, I think, does anybody have any more closing topics?
One more note from Amazon.
One more note. Tell me.
No new Kindles.
Yeah.
They didn't announce a new Kindle this year.
Yeah, I was surprised. Their Kindles are starting to age.
Yeah. It's what the last one was over a year ago, I think.
I think so.
So it's for all you e-readers out there.
Yeah, they're not loving them right now. Maybe we'll see something next year once they stop adding Echo to literally everything.
It's gonna be the Echo e-reader.
You're gonna be able to buy like tissue boxes with like Amazon connected.
Probably.
Yeah.
Your cold is getting 25% better.
Yeah.
Maybe you're getting low. Press the button to order them.
Maybe the Kindle.
It'd be weird if they. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You first.
So it'd be weird if they embedded the assistant into the dash buttons. That would be very strange. It would be hard to do, but that would be an interesting thing if they decided to do that. That way you could like literally order that product with your voice instead of hitting a button.
I wouldn't be surprised at all to see that.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of creepy if you were just having a conversation where you use the word buy and then Amazon's trying to sell you stuff. But I guess you'd have to say like some kind of trigger command. But to comment on the Kindles, I know I'm kind of obsessing over AR in the past couple of minutes, but I'm wondering if maybe with some advances in that, if they're waiting for a new type of platform as opposed to this like a tablet looking thing, maybe if there's something around the bend that we're not privy to with a heads up display or something like that, maybe they're trying to bring reading or that kind of content to a new platform.
Yeah, a couple of these companies are looking into releasing glasses that are
exactly
AR compatible.
Right.
So I'd be interested to see if Amazon did that, like the Echo C, where you can view Amazon from right in front of your face.
Do you think that they're going to get rid of the name Kindle though? If that happens, I don't think they would.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I'd be interested to see where this, because like in 2 years, this whole product line could be completely overhauled and different to see, depending on where Google and Amazon push, or Google and Apple push them.
Yeah, I would think that with like the introduction of new types of technology, they're probably going to come out with new buzzword names for them.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just an opinion.
They're gonna run out of verbs.
Yeah.
Echo, look, show.
Yeah.
Dot. Like I don't know. They're gonna run out of a lot of stuff. But
Echo stall.
Yeah, I think Echo stall.
Stall, as
stall,
in delay. Yeah.
But does anybody else have any closing tips or closing points on the discussion, or anything we can get into plugging anybody's work that they might be doing?
I just kind of want to say to the listeners out there, this market is evolving as we're talking a lot about the future, what's to come when it comes to Amazon, even reflecting back in the first half on things like SpaceX. If you have any interest in these topics, let us know what you like, what you don't like. If you have any opinions, feel free to share those as well on our page. We do moderate that. You may not get featured or anything like that, but we like the open forum and discussion with the people who are into what we're talking about. So please let us know what you think about these topics.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Also, if you have any topic ideas that you maybe you heard somebody talking about in the office, you don't know where to go to do the research or don't quite understand it, throw that out to us and we can definitely go delve in deeper here on the podcast. So.
Yeah, we try to cover the big stuff, but if anybody has anything that they would like, I don't know if anybody else has caught on to it, but we've been kind of going into a targeted second half, going in depth on a single topic or news bit or product release or something. So if anybody has anything for either the first half or for a larger in-depth thing that they're curious about, whether it be something as simple as the Google products or something as complex as Bitcoin, then we could kind of do a deep dive on any of those topics. So I'd be curious to see what the listenership wants to listen to and wants to learn about.
Exactly.
So, and I'm more than willing to do the research and deliver accurate and well-organized news.
All right. Well, if nobody has anything else, everybody good?
Yeah. Anybody want to talk about where people can find them?
Sure. I'll do the first plug of a few.
Yes.
Just if you're interested in seeing my previous work or what's to come in terms of the beats you hear on this show, or other things I've created, you can find me on soundcloud.com/FREH.
Nice.
Not to be confused with Thompson's hat.
Right. Yeah. There's an extra S in there.
Just put a line through it.
We'll add it in post.
New profile picture.
Yes.
I plug every week. So we're going through a little bit of a transitionary period for my other podcast right now. Trying to figure out exactly what direction we're going to go in or how often we're going to do it. But if you like professional wrestling at all, in any way, shape, or form, please check out and let me know how you like On Air with Keenan and Kyle. You can find us pretty active Facebook and Twitter. Twitter's @OnAirKeenanKyle. So take out the with and. And then we're also on on iTunes as well. You just search On Air with Keenan and Kyle. So red symbol says On Air with Keenan and Kyle on the symbol, and you can see my face like that on the emblem as well. And then if you just want to, follow me, at Kyle Fisher 45 on Twitter, if you want to give me a follow.
Nice. Ryan, I know you got a lot of stuff you're working on.
So I'm just right now I'm still just focusing on my photography mainly. You can find me on Instagram at WayneRyan21. I try to follow you back if you follow me. I'm not the best at my Instagram game yet, but trying to step it up a little bit. You can also find me on Flickr. It's flickr.com/photos/Wayne R. Thompson.
Nice.
Also, that video that you recently posted was epic.
Yes.
Thanks, man.
On that, man.
Yeah.
So I opened up a new YouTube channel. If you guys want to go check that video out, it's Westtown Crew. So it's just Westtown, all one word, and then Crew. You can find it on YouTube.
All right.
Yeah, just to give my own opinion here, Ryan is putting out some ridiculously awesome stuff. So good stuff, Ryan.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
So with all that being said, this has been episode 21 of Industry 4.0. Thank you, as always, for tuning in, and we hope to have you again next week.